So I'm just using PowerPoint so that I can actually illustrate. So for our first assignment, the idea is to you will enter 5 numbers between 10 and 100, right? And the idea is show the numbers that has no duplicates, right? So the idea there is you will have right. So you have numbers and that, for example, you enter 20. Oh gosh. 20, 15, 60, 20, 20, and 100. Okay, so for example, so there's going to be a prompt that enter your 5 numbers, right? So everybody got that, right? So the idea here is you're going to have an output that looks like 15, 60, and 100, right? These are the only numbers that did not repeat. 20 repeats, so that's out. So the idea is how can you figure out which ones repeat or not repeat, right? So the way I'll do it is for example, if there's your array, right? And you have an array that has 5 elements, and the indices of that array is 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? So the idea is, let me just exit out here. Let me just exit that. The idea is you have to have a loop that goes each one, right? Go to each one of these, right? First of which will be 20. So we'll have a loop that will go to the first one, 20. It will check, is this the same as 20? Is this the same as that? Yes, right? So each one will have at least one the same, right? Because you will have to compare it to each one, because you have to. So what it is, so the way I see it is you're going to have a variable that will hold the current number from your entries. So I will call this one current val or something like that will hold. So each time it passes the loop, it will assign current value with whatever that number is on the loop, and it will compare, is this number same as that, right? Which it will loop, and it will say yes. If yes, then you will say count plus plus. And that, so count, you will have a counter of how many duplicates there is, right? For this current number. So we'll say count. So right now this one is 1, right? Is this the same as this? No, right? Is this the same as that? No, is this the same as that? Yes, then count plus plus again. Now count now is 2, right? And then is this the same as that? No. So you have completed each one and you say, is count greater than 1? Because only you're looking for is something that's greater than 1. If it's equal to 1, then no, each one is 1. Each one will have a 1, right? So is this greater than 1? Yes. So now you will have another array here. Fine, that will hold. So this first value here will get that. So we'll say 20. And then you would have to have like some type of counter plus plus so that it will move from 0 to 1. So the next duplicate knows that you have to put it there in the second array. So my approach, if I'm doing this, even though you can get away with using one array. So right now, to make things a lot quicker to be coded, then you will have to have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 here, right? So now it goes to, now the current value now is no longer 20, now it's 15, right? Is this equal to that? No. Is this equal to, no, what this do is you will have to reset this count equal to 0, because now you're going back to each one again. So is this equal to that? No. Is this equal to that? Yes. So count plus plus, now count is 1, right? That count right there. Is this equal to that? No. Is this equal to that? No. Is this equal to that? No. Then you say, is count greater than 1? No. Then you don't do anything. You don't actually update that, because it's not more than 1. There are no duplicates. So then now you go from 15, then you go to 60. Then from here you go again back to loop, compare to each one. Obviously, when it gets to this point, it will have duplicates again, because that will be the same, that will be the same. So the count will be 2. Actually, no, I'm getting it reversed, right? So I'm sorry, getting it reversed. Let me X this out. So if count is equal to 1, sorry about that. If count is equal to 1, then you put that number here. So this one should be 15. I messed that up. So I did the reverse. I'm actually looking for the duplicates. No, we were not looking for duplicates. Does that make sense? I think I got very, very confused now. So let me erase this and redo this, because I think
I understood it differently, where you wanted only one value.
Only one, not greater than 1, not bigger than 1.
To come through though. So as soon as 20 was selected, it would still be in the new set of numbers, but not additional inputs of 20.
Yeah. So what you want to do is this. Let me do the eraser, because I messed that up. And I can't believe I recorded that too. So thank God I can edit my recording, because I don't want to. So the idea here is, let me read that. So there's your entry. So you go to each one here, right? Go to each one, right here. So the first, you're going to have a loop that will visit each of this thing, and each one will be on something called a current value, or whatever, however you want to name that variable, equals. So the first one is 20, right? So the first one here. So what you do is this equal to this. Yes. So you have a counter, like hits or something, we can call it hits. So initially hits is 0. Is this equal to that? Yes. Then it hits plus plus. So this will be 1. Is this equal to that? No. Is this equal to that? No. Is this equal to that? Yes. Hits equal hit plus plus, then this will be 2, right? So from that point on, you can actually do an exit in your loop. You can say exit, because there's no point moving forward. You already have more than 1. You already found a duplicate. So now you can just ignore that. So now go to your current val equals now 15, right? And you have to initiate your hits. After you exit it, make sure that you reset your counter, your hits equal to 0 again, because this is what counts the duplicates, right? This one right here. There's a common mistake that you will miss this, because if you don't reset it back to 0, then it will be 2. If you move your pointer to the next one. So now this 15, is this equal to this? No. Is this equal to this? Yes. So hit plus plus will now become 1, right? Is this equal to that? No. Is this equal to that? No. Is this equal to that? No. You're at the end of your entry. So check, is hits equals 1? If it is yes, Then you have a second array here that starts with, let's say, we're going to call this one like a counter. So this one is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Then you put the value here, 15. Then you increase counter plus plus so that it moves your pointer from here. So the next non-duplicate value, it knows that it has to put it here. Does that make sense? So now from 15 you go to 60. Then now you check again, each one is this equal to that, no equal to that, no equal to that, no, that hits plus plus, this will become 1. And this equal to that, no, this equal to that, no. So that's the end. And you say it's hits equals 1. And it says yes, then move that value here, update your counter so that it moves your next thing there. All the way from 15 to 20 again. Is this equal to this? Yes, then it will be 1. Is this equal to that? No, this equal to that. No, this equal to that. Yes, so this will become 2. You can exit right away, or you don't have to worry about it because it will, if it checks here, its hits can still gonna be 2. So its hits greater than 1. Yes, if it's greater than 1, you don't have to do anything. Go to the next number. 100.
Do we have to solve for whether the hits go above, 2 or 3, or
No, because you're only checking if the hits equals 1. Because those are the ones that you're retaining. If it is more than 1, then they're duplicates. So for example, if you have here you have numbers 5, 5, 6, 5, 5, right? And what's the output here?
6.
The 6, right? So yeah, you can have a loop that goes to each one, but ultimately it knows that each time you go to each of this element here, it will find those duplicates because it will revisit each one when you loop it.
So to be clear, you don't want the first 5 to flow through.
Not necessarily, because I can make this.
Do you know what I mean? If that's the point of the exercise is to find a match and then discard them, then I understand.
Yeah.
I also understand it would be a different way to go about it if you want the first number, the original number, not a duplicate, to flow through into the new set.
You're talking about all 5?
The first, yeah, so 20 can flow through because it's not a duplicate, it's the first time, but the second 20 will not flow through. I guess the question is, do you want...
I get it now. So do you want to show 20 once?
The first time, yes.
Yeah, no.
Do not show it. Okay.
Yeah, no show it. It's only, you only have to show the non-duplicates. Yeah.
Okay.
At first I got misunderstanding that I have to show the 20 as well.
That's the first.
Yeah, that's the first one, and then the rest, just not showing it.
Yeah, no, you're good. I understand what you're saying. So yeah, just show the non-duplicates.
Good.
Well, I guess you got a point too, yeah.
So the next exercise, which I understand to be it's applying the first assignment question. The second assignment question is...
It's very similar. It's very similar.
Yeah.
So this one, you know what? You just.
I just want to make sure.
No. For this one, just show the numbers that has no duplicates.
Okay.
Yeah. So for this one, show the numbers that has no duplicates. The second one is like
An airline system.
an airline system. Well, let me erase all this because I got this recorded now. So. All right. So the second one is an airline system, right? 1, All right, so you have seats.
1 through 5 for our first class.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So so here, you know, the index is 1, 2, 3, right? For our arrays, right? Right, so that's the index for our array. So the idea is, the question is, one first class, right?
Yes, you're asking the user to
Or it's economy,
economy or yeah.
right? So I can't write. There you go. That's economy right there, right? Eco. So eco. So is it 1 for first class, 2 for economy?
I believe so.
Okay,
We
so
can make it that way. That seems like a logical way.
yeah, so 1 for first class, 2 for economy. So that's one of the questions.
Yeah.
And the idea here is if you select first class, you will look if this one is occupied or not, right? So the idea is you have an array of type Boolean, type bool, right? Boolean, and first check is this available? True or false? If false, if it is available, if it's true, if it's open, then set this. Well, actually, did it say true if it is open? Or did I zoom in?
You have a variable empty or taken, I guess. So yeah, so like if false, then assign to empty.
Okay, false is empty. True is
Assign.
Okay, so or taken. All right. So check this if it is false, right? So if it is false, then make it true. Right? Then ask for the second question. And the idea is, if it is first class, it's array index 0 to 4 or whatever spots 1 through 5, however you want to do it. And if it is economy, it's array spots 5 through 9 or index 5 through 9, right? So, and all of this is check if, and then here you will just keep checking. So you're going to have a loop. If it's first class, loop from this to this. Is this false? Is equal to false? Equals to false. If not, then true. Then if all of it is already taken or true, then ask. We want to check if there's available in the economy. Then you go another loop. Then you go from here, 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 and here. The answer no, then you just say that plane taken off 3 hours, something like that. If not, then just again loop here again. And then if there's none available here, then you just come up with some statement that plane is full or something like that. It's fully booked. Actually, this one I think is an easier one than the other one. But that's the idea. So you will. The first one I know you will need 2 loops. On the first portion of the assignment, the checking for the discarding of duplicates. First loop, the outer loop that will go to each one, and then the inner loop. Once you get the current value, you will loop again to compare to each one. And then you have 2 arrays. You can come up with just 1 array, to be honest with you, but we'll talk about that later. But you can have 2 arrays. 1 array holding the input values, another array holding the no duplicate values. But if you're like one of those hardcore optimized developer that I can pull it up in 1 array, you can actually once while your cursor's moving, you can actually reuse the indices of your array that you already passed, and then put the value there. But don't worry about that. We don't have to worry about saving memory space for 5 bytes in your memory. So that's not a big deal anymore. So any question about the assignment? Okay, so I just want to clarify that, and keep working on it.
It's due yesterday, right?
Yeah, but don't worry about it. Don't sweat it. You still need to turn them in, but don't worry about the due dates for the assignments. The test, yes, I do want them on time, but the assignments, since. Oh, good. So, all right. So, what we'll be doing now is. So I just need to. Did you get the? Did it work? The link?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
It's a good book.
Yeah, for those that wanted a copy of the book, I have the PDF version of the C++ as well. So I didn't realize I didn't realize I have it. So I have the PDF version of the C++ book.
I have the one with the line on the 8th edition. Is that 7th?
Oh yeah, this old edition, but just in case you want a copy, and then the Visual C#. Right, so anybody here have done like functions in C++? Did you guys get to that point or almost? Huh?
In Maine.
Okay. So
No, I haven't.
so
Anyone else have?
I'm supposed to have an image there, but right. So that's what it does. Okay. So when I develop applications, as much as possible, I wanted to segment things, put things in different modules, and not put them in like 100 lines of code in one function as one function. As much as possible, I want to put them in different places and group the ones and really identify a specific task in my codes. So I'm going to show you what that means. It helps you for maintenance of your code, so that when you make changes, it's more readable for you. Also, if you need to reuse code, it's better to make it modular or using functions, and it's very readable because assuming that the functions were titled and defined clearly, then you will know what it's doing. For example, if you have a function that averages thing, and it will say function calculate average, so you know whatever code is inside it, that's what it's doing. It's calculating averages. So here, when we open up, let me open up dev C++ here. And I'm gonna create a new project. Okay, and I'm gonna call this one function 1. That's fine. Right, so in our C++, the one that I know, the one that we've been working on, right, so so we know that in our application you see this int main by default and then this return command here. So this is actually a function which is referred to as the main function in C++. So any C++ application that you create has a built-in main function. It actually has parameters. It has an argc, the data type of it, and you have this arg here, and then you have the char data type, and it actually has a default return value, which is a 0. So this function here is not returning anything other than returning a 0, right? So what that means is you can actually create your own function. So for example, you want to create a function that returns nothing other than say hello world. A function that just say hello world. So in this example here. So how do you define that function? And then and it's very simple here. Just let me move this down a little bit. Identify the data type. So a function that doesn't return anything, but you have to identify the data type. You can use void as the data type. So it's like int, bool, double. Void is a data type pretty much returns nothing. It's called void, right? And we call this one. Let's name our function hello. Open close parentheses, and our begin and end command there. Cout hello CIS that. So let me just call this one function 1. Okay, so we have a function here. Oh, what is that thing there? Okay, so we now have this one function called hello, and inside it, all it does is output hello CIS 3030. That's all it does, right? So how do you call this function? Just go here, say hello. This function, call it inside your main function. All right, so again, you have this thing here, and so what if you want to have a function that adds numbers, right? So you will have two numbers. You'll say enter first number, enter second number, and then you call a function, and all it does is add the two numbers, right? So let's do a save as here. So here, let's go ahead and then create that dialog box. So cin, right? Cin, like that.
cn first num. That's what I like with this. I don't like the C out CN business. And her. Okay, and then Control C, Control V. All right, so what am I missing? Obviously, I'm missing something here. We got the hello there, so it's okay to have it there.
Initialize the variables.
Very good. So we haven't really say int first num second num. Okay. So let's create our function. So what will be the result of adding those two numbers? I mean, if they're integers, so what should be the result? Integer as well. So you say int add two numbers, right? So put them here. So
Actually,
yeah.
what does the bracket like?
This one right here.
Yeah.
Oh no, but no. Later on, yes, because we can put we can put actual arguments or sometimes referred to as parameters in there.
Oh.
So yeah, we're gonna use that later. Yeah, but yeah, you will have to have the parentheses there. Yeah.
Okay.
So here, now that we have add those two numbers, then you say int sum equals see the thing here now is, do you think I'll just put first num, second num here?
Yes.
Let's try that. Plus second num. And then you say return sum.
So what is the difference between your program Hello World, which returns nothing, and I guess when I see Hello World in my mind, I'm thinking, well, it returns the text, but you described it as not.
No, it doesn't. It didn't return the text. Actually, here there's no return. If you look at it, there's no return 0 or return. This one has return sum, right? This one does not have a return.
So I'm not understanding then.
Yeah. So what it is if to identify a certain function that doesn't return anything, first is you have to include a data type. Like that's the main basic construct of defining a function. If you can see here, the return type, the name of the function. Well, here you're not really returning any value. There's nothing resulting to it other than writing into your console the text hello. So this is not really returning a value because there's no variable in there. Now, if I say string hello equals this, then I would have to return something, right? But this one here is just a cout. So all this is doing is write this into your console, this text. But if I say here string equals hello CS330 and then return, and then you display whatever, and then. But that's a good point. No, it's a void is something that you're defining a function that doesn't return anything.
So it's not even necessary to put return 0 as well?
No, not necessary. Yeah. This one is just a default so that you don't make a mistake of actually issuing an integer function but not returning anything. Because no, this one is integer, and if you don't put anything here, it has to return something. It has to return some integer.
That will make sure the program stops.
Yeah. So this one actually returns 0. That's all it does. Yeah.
So if you were to go to your second function int add two numbers,
Mm-hmm.
what if you put cout sum instead of return sum? You could still cout the sum, but would that cause an error then because you don't have an integer return?
No. You can do a cout.
You
You
could do
can do a cout
and not have a return.
and not have a return.
Okay.
One thing though is when I'm programming this, I want the only thing I want this to do is add the numbers. I will have something separate that will output it for me. So you can have like a void show output.
Can you try to run it?
Yeah, and you'll get an error if you run.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
That's why I asked.
Yeah, no, I know because I see the error.
Yeah, what's the command to go back up to check when it, because you're calling the function before you have your,
No, so what the error is actually, if you look at it, the error is actually right here. This is where the error is, right?
Yes.
And that's the thing with defining functions. Here we defined our variable, right? And also we haven't really called this. I mean, we really haven't
Yeah.
called this function. So let's add it. But even with that, it's still gonna be an error. So we say you can say. Actually, no. I return sum. So I will say here total. So I'll say total equals add two numbers, right? So what it is whatever this is returning, because this sum right here is only available in this function right here. This variable sum is only available here. You cannot use this sum here in this main function. So it's vice versa. This first num and second num is only going to be available here.
it doesn't know that, it doesn't recognize first num, second num. In that
Exactly.
function.
So what you do now is now you have to put values here. Say first, or we're going to call this one f1 comma f2. Well, we're going to have as integer
That
And
was,
then-
I was going to ask about that.
in, right? So
You have to say what to expect.
yes, so those are called the parameters or the arguments of your function. So if I need to use this function here, and I call this function, it's expecting for you to put two values in there of integer data. So here, what should I put here? Then I will say first num, comma, second num. So what it is first is we ask for our input, right? And we put those two values into those two variables. We call the function add two numbers and pass those two values as parameters so that it goes here in f1, f2. And it adds it, it returns this value here, and go back to the main function, put us to here, this one right here. Do we have a value yet? Is there any output yet? The total is it outputted yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. So what do we need to do?
See how-
See out. $10, $20, total 30. So if you want to be fancy here, then you can have something called show total. and you say total is, and you can say here total, or I call it T1 or just T if you want. And here,
You have to make that an int, or does it automatically go to the string?
no, it doesn't. Yeah, T right there. And here you can just call show total. Total.
Will it work if you just put T instead of total?
Here,
I mean at the bottom.
no, because if I put T here, then that means that you're thinking of using this value, and this is only available here.
Here. Oh,
So when you call it, that means that you're actually using this value and using it here, and then calling that function, and now that total will be T, and whatever that is will show here.
So on line 6, in parentheses, do you need to make sure that the data type is?
You know what? You got a good point. Yes. You and actually, if you have a parameter, you have to identify the data type as well. Yeah, good point. Now, or else it's going to be an error. Yeah, it will be an error if we don't have it there. Compile 100, 200. So the nice thing about that is once you know it's working, and then you say, I just want to focus on now making changes to the way I say the total. I don't want just the total is to say the sum of the two numbers is, right? So instead of going total is, then you only got to just worry about the show total. The sum of the two numbers is, or is it R? What's the right grammar? R, right? Yeah, because of numbers. Yeah. Thank God this is not a grammar class. 30, 45, some of the numbers are 75.
Now, it's like you said, it's easily manipulated.
Yeah, and what if you want to multiply the numbers, right?
Just have to change the.
All you have to do is worry about it. And actually, this one here too is you can easily just say, instead of having a sum variable here, you can easily say, as far as I remember, return so you can just easily do this. See, the less code you have, the better. And for me, I always have like a function that calculates things. I have a function that outputs things. And then you can even make this. A separate.
Just input data.
Yeah. You can even make this a separate. The idea now is you have to figure out. Well, if I create a separate function for this, where am I gonna put this first num, second num, right? Because now it will be out there on its own function and it's not gonna be visible. So what you can do is you can actually make this like a global variable, and the way to do it, as far as I remember, is just moving this out. I think.
Outside of the brackets.
Yeah, outside this main function, and actually moving it up here, if I'm not mistaken. And the idea really is just to try it out and see if it's gonna work.
Then the program knows to expect
So it still works. So what I'm saying is, see the fact that I moved it outside our main function here, right? So that means that this variables here now has become global variables. Or what does that mean? That means now that once they become global variables, I don't have to worry about this first num, second num here. See this first num, second num right here? I can just actually, well, let me save this as something else. Let me save this. I've saved this already, right? Yeah, let me get function 3 right here. Right. So once that we have this defined as global variables, right? So we don't have to worry about this right here. We can get rid of that so that there's no required, and you can just call that total. And this one right here, you can eliminate it because whatever this is available throughout your application. Outside, inside here, inside of this, obviously anywhere here. So the show total, all it does, the show total is use whatever this value is, which you already manipulated here, right? And same thing with the adding the two numbers. That means that you don't need this two right here. You don't need that. All you have to do is say first num, second num, see there are no more parameters or arguments required, and on my functions I remove them as well. I'm only using them this as global variables. So if you compile this and run, then you should have the same result. See? No, what I'm showing here is how you can optimize your codes more so that you have less codes. So now, no, we have removed the requirement for, but again, you have to remember that you have to move this out and make them global variables. Any question about this first simple app that we created with parameters and with the first one is with parameters. This one is using global variables. And now you can see that. What I was trying to do here is now here you can say void data entry, right? And then you can just go here. And then your main function now will say data entry. Right? So you run this. Still works. And now you have a function that is very specific to data entry, a function that do the calculation and transaction, and a function that outputs them. And for me, I always program like this. I have modules that deals with data entry and the user interface, a module where all it does the calculation, and another module where all it does output. And it's easier to maintain things. It takes practice. You will think that it's a lot more work, but down the road you'll see that it will benefit you, because when you maintain your code, it's a lot easier to understand. Because now all you got to do is, okay, what does this do, data entry? Then all you have to do is deal with like a few lines of code, and you're not dealing with, if you add this all together, there's like maybe 15 to 20 lines of code that you have to look at one time. But here, if you only know that, okay, on the go to main, okay, this two right here is add two numbers. What does it do? Oh, adds a number there, and show total. What is it doing? Oh, it just outputs the value. Any questions about this?
project, can you save your functions into one source file and then call it in another?
Yeah, you can do an include. You can have some type of code library, and you can actually do something like this, where you can actually call another C++ code, and you can call those functions. And
You've already created somewhere else.
yes, and it's called include. I don't know if you guys have done web development. No, okay. So if you do like with PHP, then you can actually, that's one of the best tools there is, where you can say include this file, and it will have all the functions that you need there. And if you do job security programming, then you will be calling functions that doesn't exist on that page, but actually exists on that page that you were calling. And same idea here. We'll do some of those. Yeah, good point. All right, so question, no question about this. All right, so let's go ahead and save this. Already, I gotta save, right? So next app we're gonna be working on. Let me just go to my cheat sheet here. Oh, remember that netpay function?
NetPay, yes.
Yeah, so I'm gonna open that, and we're gonna convert that using functions so that you guys get the idea. So let me close this out. Yes.
That's the salary, time and service. Is it?
I do have something here called netpay. That's not netpay. That's great calculation.
I think you would.
Yeah, well, let's do this. I mean, we're already here. Might as well. So the idea here is create a function
Wait, what are we doing?
Yeah, well, we'll just create a function that will calculate the final numeric grade. And let's use parameters and don't use. So let's create a function that.
Why don't you create a function that calls the entire thing?
Like the entire thing.
Yeah, the entire program.
Well, this one is already a function right here. But what I'm saying, I want to create a function that calculate the numeric grade right here. Yeah, let me open up the netpay, but I think that's a better example. And hopefully I didn't actually. Where's the source file? And they're all in here, right? I saved it all in there.
What I think you did is we kept moving forward and on the same file.
And I did not save it, right?
You created NetPay, but then you saved over it with the grade out.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's not it. Yeah, I can't believe I didn't save that thing. Okay, so let's just convert this. All right, so how do we establish a function that calculates the numeric rate?
Data type, name, like what you're returning.
So, what are we returning? It's the final is float, so we'll say float here. Calc final grade, and then we're gonna have that. Okay. So we're gonna make this TMPA, and they're all int. Okay, int T, int M, int P, int A. And we're just going to reuse this right here. Return. And I think you can actually put this in parentheses so that it makes a lot more sense. And then you go here. You say test, midterm, proj, assignment. So let me run this. Let me save this as now. A function 4.
Will you get an error if the variables are not global, or because they're already?
I think
You're right. Yeah. Let me change this to T M P
You should put the parentheses here
A.
at the end.
What's that?
You have to put the parentheses.
Thank you. Yeah. So what's that, Aaron? Is it here?
No, just now.
Oh, you're referring to this one on top?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I already put it.
Yeah, you already put the parentheses, and this one right here is, you're good because we defined your parameters here, and we're using them here, like APMT, which corresponds to TMPA right there. TMPA. I mean, I just use letters here as the name of the variables, but here they correspond. Final grade. So let's run this and make sure that it actually didn't get messed up. (87B), which is I think what should be the correct one. So now we got one function here, right?
What happens if you take away those parameters from calc final grade?
Here,
Yeah.
if you take away these parameters, you'll get an error. If you run it, you'll get an error.
What's the error?
Yeah, because it's expecting values there because of your definition of the function here. A good question. Yeah. So here now, how can we convert this now to a function? We'll call this one. And what is the output of the of this? Let's call it. Let's do a string. String calc letter grade, and the input is float f for final. So I'm gonna copy this. And then we paste it right here. So I'm gonna make this F. And then what are we're missing something here. What are we missing?
See out or return.
Very good. So here, just say return L. Because you're returning what this is, right? After this if else statements, then you're returning that value there. And then from here, how do you call that function? So you just say,
Delete that.
so what do you need to do here?
Just type the function.
Letter equals,
Equals calculate letter grade.
yeah, very good. Grade. And here you say fine. Now, can you put this here? Instead of saying final, just put this whole thing there.
Yes.
So, and same thing with this, right? So let's try to run this first and make sure that
Don't need the extra variables.
yeah, 100, 90, 80, 70. So 87B still, right? So what if we just comment that, copy this, there, right? And then copy this. See, this time it's not gonna work, right? Right? Because now we will need this value for the letter grade. So the letter grade, now we don't have this anymore. So yeah. But you can. You know what I'm saying is you can actually
If you wanted, you could.
yeah, just so for now, just for the sake of actual demonstration here, I still put it in a variable and I still call the function right there. So, and it should be fine.
What's the return for calc final grade? Return L. Oh, final grade return that.
Yeah, I put it. I didn't put any. I didn't use any variable, so I just put it there.
If you put return that equal, well, no, and then equals final, would that still allow you to work? I'm trying to think, if that outputted final as its function, you wouldn't need to define it later, would you?
No, because this function right here already returns a value.
Okay.
So you don't need to really. I mean, the fact that I assigned, I put it in a variable here is just because I know I will need this for the calculation of the letter. But if not, then I wouldn't actually need to do this. So I'm just gonna do this right here and then just put. And same thing, just like the exercise earlier, if you actually move all this out and make them global variables, then you won't need to use this. You won't need to use any of these parameters. But for me, it's just more readable, so that it's more constrained. You know the things that you need to deal with, because here, if I don't have this here under calculate final grade, and what I have here is test, midterm, project, assignments, I don't know where to get those values, right? At least here I know that, okay, I have to provide 4 different values into that function for it to work. So at least I know. If you don't have it, then here it's gonna be an open thing where, well, now I have some letters and numbers there, some calculations that was done. So even though it's still gonna be descriptive, But yeah, for me, it's just easier to maintain. But there's no right or wrong way to do it. It just depends on which one you're actually comfortable with. So in this case here, so the calculate grade and all that. So what if it's not A but it's A plus? You need to add the pluses there, right? D plus. And I want to be funny here, F plus. Like you're the greatest flunker in the world, like F plus right there. So, okay, so 100, 90, 80, 70, B plus. I still can't believe I don't have the net pay. So let me just, did I save this?
You saved as before.
Yeah,
Haven't
okay.
saved the change.
So let me look for that net pay app because I'm still not happy that I didn't actually save it. I might have a copy of it here. Because I don't want to retype it. That's the thing. I have the NetPay specs. I just don't have the. Oh, which one did I? Can't believe I actually. Yes. Okay, so unbelievable, I didn't actually save it. All right, so well, let's move forward with our next exercise here. Hold on. Sending data into function, passing data by value. We're gonna skip this for now because this passing by reference is very similar to using global variables. This actually, the reason why I don't want to introduce it because it's a lot more confusing, but it does the same thing where you can manipulate a variable and use it on different places, on different functions.
Makes it available like a global.
Yeah. So and what it is called passing arguments by reference, and all of this is by adding a ampersand symbol in front of the variable name.
So I think I remember hearing, does it allow the program to
Make changes to it.
check, like it goes to the end and it will check, it'll continually check for the variable until it finds it to grab it.
Well, no. Well, what it does is, for example, you have a. Well, actually, let's use this variable here. Let me copy this function. Let's create a new function. Since let me just illustrate that. Since I have the code here, might as well file new. Source, new project, Windows. Function by reference. All right, so we have this code, right? So let me just copy this for the sake of so that I don't have to retype a lot of these things. Right, so I have that, and let me copy this function here. Right. So looking at this code here, our code starts here, right? Right? This is our main function, so it starts here. What is the value? What is the current value of the variable value? 4, right? It goes here, what we'll say here. The current value is, this should say 4. Then it called a function that has a parameter called value. So it's using this. So it's a multiply 2 value. It goes here. It passes this as a reference.
It passes it. What is it?
It's a reference. The parameter is passed as a reference, not passing by value. So it's a reference. So this one, ref var, is really not the value inside this, but it is passing this one as a variable itself. So what's going to happen if, what do you think happens if,
So instead of value, instead of it saying int value, it's ampersand ref variable.
yeah, ampersand ref var, like ampersand value, which is not the number 4 being passed there, but the actual, but value as a variable. So because when we don't have here, what you have here is now the number 4, because this is 4, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So now it is just the value as a variable.
It's the location of value.
Yes. So if you multiply this by 2 and it exits it, so what should be the value of this? What will be this? 8, right? So let's run it. Function by reference 1. There's an error.
But do you not have to return anything outside of, oh, well, it's a void, so no.
Yeah, it's a void. Let me get rid of this. Let's do that. I'm missing something.
Do you have to say value equals multiplied by 2 value, or?
No, because it is void.
Does it say, does the debuggers say where,
No.
oh, using namespace?
Yeah. So now value for value is 8, right? Right. So now what we'll do now is, instead of this, I will say value. Value, right? Or I will just easily say V right here, or V, so that we know that this corresponds to that, right? So what do you think will be this value right here?
Should still work, no?
Or actually, yeah, let's call this one value and value. So any guesses? What is this gonna be? The first one.
4.
The second one?
Zero.
0. Let's give it a try. Four. Because what happened is this one is pretty much didn't do anything. It went to that function, right? Passes that value, multiplied by 2, but this didn't return anything. But the earlier, when I had this, as a reference.
So
It knows that space allocated for this was changed, and when you change it, it knows that that value now is a new value because it's based off of the variable, not based off of the number 4 right here.
calculation didn't run.
Yeah. So, no, it did run, but it did not return anything.
It didn't change.
Yeah, it didn't change the value. It changed the value from within here, but outside this and this two right here are two separate things now. If you actually look at the memory allocation internally on the computer, this has a separate space, this has a separate space, two different values. So that's why the global variable is the best way to do it, to do this kind of thing. If you need to make some changes that reflects on the main function and the other functions. So because back in the day, when people are really very conservative about using variables, so we try to minimize it as much as possible. Nowadays, I mean, you got plenty of memory.
So when I compile mine, the first one is 8 and the second one is 4.
I think it should say 4.
Mine is 8.
Unless you put 8 here.
It's,
No, 4.
you didn't change this here to get the error.
Oh.
Well, not the error, but to the point. He still has the pass by reference.
Oh, okay.
It'll still be the same. He was just explaining if you don't have the pass by reference, it won't know to output and update the value.
Yeah, that's correct. Now I made it pass by reference, and now it just say 4 and 8 now.
It works.
Yeah.
Why is it like, because the multiple by 2 is below the C out in the first line? Isn't it should be 8 on the first one and then 4 on the second one?
No, because the first one is based off of this value, right? Because you execute this first, and then you execute this next, right? So this will be for sure 4. And then you call this function, right? Then you go here, multiply 2, value times equals 2. So you multiply it by 2, whatever this value is. So 4 times 2, 8, put the value here, return it. And now since it is a function passed by reference, then you use that value 8 now.
It's updated.
Yeah.
Because I always thought that the second line affects the first line.
Oh, no. It goes from here to here and here. It goes from top to bottom. Yeah. But I don't really use this. I only use this for like macro substitution and all that. But yeah, I use global variables if I need to make changes into some variables into another function and use that same value on other functions in your application. So that's the only time I do it. But I use global variables. All right, so that's function by reference. It's 7:31, guys. Let's take a 15-minute break, and we'll continue at 7:45. We have like a few things that we have to go over still. So there's the exercise that students are working on. Just for the purpose, just for the ones that aren't here, so that they know what this is about, because this is all they see on the screen. Let me pause it too. So this is the code that I come up with. I'm not gonna upload this yet until Thursday, because I don't want you to copy and paste my work and then you get 5 points. At least watch the video and then work on it. It's a joke, but you guys get the idea. So what I did is I have a function that calculates the amount for the drawer. So all of this is whatever your entered value of number of drawers, multiply that by 30. That will calculate the cost for it. And then for the type of wood, depending on what you enter, if it is P, it's 100, or per pine, if it is oak, it's 140. If none of those two, then it's always 180. Just return that cost, and that will be your calc wood return value. And on the main function, all of this is call the function to calculate the wood amount, call the function to calculate the drawer amount with the drawers and the wood parameters there. And then for the output, I have the wood cost line item there, the drawer cost, and then add those two there, and you have the total. And yes, when you start coding, you can see I put it in an organized way, but don't be discouraged that sometimes your code is all over the place. And when you get better, and then just do these things, so that it's more modularized and it's easy to read, easier to maintain. But it takes time. It takes a lot of practice. But for me, when I look at specifications, I know right away what modules I'm going to create, what the inputs are, and what kind of output I need. So that's why I was able to create all these functions right away. And for me, I will actually create the functions names right away, even without the codes inside it, so that I know, like the next day or the next week when I continue coding on it, I know those are the things that I have to fill in. Those are the functions that I have to complete, so that I don't have to rethink that, because sometimes you will have to rethink it again. But if you have those functions there, at least you know that you have a job. You have like 4 different tasks that you have to do. And plus, if you're actually developing as a group, you will have somebody that will be in charge of this, somebody that will be in charge of this, and then you're in charge of putting it all together. As long as everybody understood what the specifications are, you can easily put it together. It is hard, actually, team development is hard in the beginning, because you don't really know the different styles of your team members. But once you get into some type of workflow, actually things will be a lot easier, because you know what to expect now. And it's a lot actually easier, because you don't have to do everything. But it takes practice, it takes a lot of experience with the group to get it done. So for me, sometimes I get things faster. I get a lot of things faster done faster if I did it myself. But no, it takes practice to do it as a team. But once you master it as a team, it's a lot less pressure to finish a job. So, and a question about this exercise. So that's pretty much all I have for today. I have some exercise here, but it's pretty much this one here is same idea. Just defining your functions with parameters. And again, let me pause this, or let me actually stop this recording.